Friday's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, October 24th, doesn't just bring drama, it explodes with it. Bill uncovers Luna's shocking prison scheme and vows revenge, while another love story begins to crack under pressure. From betrayal to forbidden desire, this episode delivers everything fans crave: secrets, passion, and fallout. Let's dive into every twist and reveal that shook Los Angeles to its core. The truth doesn't just hurt, it detonates. Inside the Spencer mansion, tension crackles like electricity as Bill gathers Liam, Will, and Katie in the living room. The air is heavy. Even before he speaks, they can feel it: something big is coming. Bill's expression is carved in stone. His eyes are cold, furious, but focused. And then, with a single breath, he drops the bombshell. Luna Nozawa's attack in prison wasn't real. Silence. Katie's hand flies to her mouth. Liam blinks, stunned. And Will, poor, conflicted Will, stares at the floor, already knowing this nightmare is far from over. Bill explains the unthinkable. Luna faked it all. She convinced her cellmate to hit her, staged the injuries, and used the chaos to manipulate her way into early release. Every bruise, every tear, all part of her performance. She wanted sympathy, Bill growls. And she got it. But not from me. Not anymore. His voice shakes, not from pain but from rage barely contained. He vows that Luna will face real justice, that she'll never use her child or his family again. He'll fight for full custody, even if it means destroying her reputation to do it. But beneath his anger, something darker brews: fear. Because deep down, Bill knows Luna's still out there, waiting. And when she strikes back, she won't just aim for his name. She'll aim for his heart. Later that night, when the storm has settled, Will finds himself alone, staring at a photograph of Luna's baby. The child's eyes are innocent, curious, full of life, yet every glance feels like a wound reopening. Because behind that small, perfect face lies a cruel truth, a reminder of Luna's manipulation, of everything she made him believe. Will runs a hand through his hair, fighting the thoughts he can't silence. He remembers the nights she'd cry in his arms, whispering, "This baby will fix everything." He remembers believing her. Now, those words echo like a curse. He doesn't hate the baby, he can't. But how do you separate love from lies when both came from the same person? Bill's vow to fight for custody might protect the child's future, but it does nothing to heal Will's heart. He's caught in a war between guilt and anger, part of him still mourning the dream of a family that never really existed. Katie watches him quietly from across the room, tears in her eyes. She sees what Bill doesn't, that this isn't just about Luna. It's about a young man trying to rebuild his identity after being broken by love. Because in The Bold and the Beautiful, sometimes the greatest battles aren't fought in courtrooms. They're fought in silence, with memories you can't forget. At Forrester Creations, the lights burn long after sunset. Carter Walton stands by his desk, sleeves rolled up, reviewing contracts, but his mind is somewhere else. Across from him, Daphne Rose watches quietly, the tension between them unspoken but undeniable. They've been dancing around this for weeks, the spark, the hesitation, the almost. But tonight, Daphne decides to stop pretending. "Carter," she begins softly, her voice steady but vulnerable, "do you still think about her?" He looks up, startled. "Her?" he asks. "You know who I mean," Daphne replies. "Hope." The silence stretches. Carter's jaw tightens. His eyes drop to the papers on his desk, anything to avoid the question. Finally, he exhales. "I cared about her," he admits. "But that chapter's over." Daphne smiles faintly, though her eyes glisten. "I just don't want to be a replacement," she whispers. "Not for Hope. Not for anyone." Her honesty catches him off guard. No anger. No accusation. Just truth. He steps closer, the space between them charged. "Daphne," he says gently, "you're not a replacement. You're the reason I'm ready to move forward." For a moment, time stops. Their eyes lock, a silent promise, fragile but real. Yet the shadows in the room tell another story. Because what neither of them knows, is that the nose saw that moment, and will not stay silent for long. Carter and Daphne may think they've found peace, but peace in Los Angeles never lasts. Timing. In The Bold and the Beautiful, it's never just coincidence, it's destiny with cruel precision. Just when Carter and Daphne seem ready to start fresh, the past sneaks back in, uninvited. A flashback reveals the moment that could destroy everything. The nose, fiery, unpredictable, and deeply wounded, kissed Carter just days ago. It wasn't planned. It wasn't romantic. It was desperation wrapped in longing. Two people lost in their emotions, reaching for something familiar when everything else felt broken. The kiss was brief, but it changed everything. Carter has tried to bury it, to convince himself it meant nothing. But guilt has a scent, and Daphne can already feel it in the air. The hesitation in his eyes, the softness in his tone, the slight pause before he says her name, they all tell her what words never could. When she asks, "Carter, do you still think about her?" it isn't just about hope, or even the nose. It's about whether she can trust him with her heart. The tragedy is that Carter does love Daphne. But love, in this world, is never enough without honesty. And when that truth surfaces, when Daphne finally learns about that kiss, it won't just sting. It'll reopen every wound she's ever tried to heal. Because on The Bold and the Beautiful, the past never asks permission to come back. It simply does. As Friday's episode closes, a storm brews across two worlds, one fueled by vengeance, the other by doubt. At Spencer Publications, Bill stands by his office window, staring into the Los Angeles skyline, his reflection dark and conflicted. He believes exposing Luna's lies will cleanse his family's name, that taking her child will somehow fix what she broke. But Liam and Katie see something different: obsession. They know that once Bill starts chasing revenge, there's no stopping him. He doesn't forgive, he conquers. And that makes him as dangerous as the woman he's trying to destroy. Meanwhile, at Forrester Creations, Carter and Daphne sit in silence after their emotional confrontation. The city hums outside, but inside that office, everything feels still, fragile. She wants to believe him, to trust that their connection can survive the ghosts still haunting him. But love built on half-truths never stands long. And then comes the twist no one sees coming: whispers that someone from Daphne's past is back in town. An ex, perhaps. A rival. Or maybe a ghost with unfinished business. Whoever it is, their arrival will send shockwaves through the lives of everyone she loves, including Carter. Because in The Bold and the Beautiful, peace isn't the end of the story. It's the moment right before the next storm hits. So, Bold fans, where does this storm leave us? Is Bill truly fighting for justice, or just feeding the darkness that's always followed him? Will Spencer ever look at Luna's child and see innocence instead of betrayal? Or will every laugh, every memory, keep him chained to her shadow forever? And over at Forrester Creations, can Carter and Daphne survive what's coming? Their love feels real, but with hope still haunting their history and the nose's secret kiss lingering in the dark, trust could crumble at any moment. Every storyline this week carries the same heartbeat: truth versus desire, redemption versus ruin. And as we head toward Halloween, one thing's clear: every mask is slipping, and the real monsters are about to be revealed. Comment your theories below. Who do you think will fall next? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Because here on Soap Bold, we don't just watch The Bold and the Beautiful, we live every heartbeat, every betrayal, every storm.